marriage seminar for members of PUJEM who are due 1st January 2021. These are the beautiful and wonderful participants. Yeah. 1st January 2021. Yes. It followed right after the fire conference at the same hall. It's gonna be beautiful and splendid, very impacting. PUJEM, where knowledge abounds. Members of PUJEM. Now, Emmanuel Okuku, popularly known as Daddy D. This conference is being hosted by Erudicia Seminars in collaboration with Erudicia Publications. We're going to talk about some tips for marriage and relationship. Hello? Let us give a high five. We've got a lot to think about, talk about, discuss. But I believe time may not permit us to go through all. But I want to give you a summary of what we are going to discuss today. First, we are going to look at, you may write it down. You will first look at 1. How to identify the right partner. 2. How to attract the right partner. And then 3. How to keep the right partner or relationship. Hello? I'm sure you all understand what I'm saying. Some people, they don't even know how to identify the right man or woman they need. Most of you here, if you don't guide you, you will make wrong choices. If you don't guide you will make wrong choices. A lot of factors go into identification of the right partner. But most young men and young women enter into a relationship not knowing anything about the identification. I don't know, what did you base on when you were choosing the first partner for your relationship? You based on compatibility. Are you sure? Sure? Apostle, what did you base on when you were making the first choice? Your first relationship, that is what I'm talking about. You know, each of us, one way or the other, involve ourselves in some one or two things before we finally go to a point where we were hooked. Say, I was hooked. Some of you have been hooked. Oh, seriously. So, you know, I'm not talking about sexual relationship. Forget about that. Don't get me wrong. Is that right? But one way or the other, you were in a kind of relationship with a member or members of the opposite sex before you were hooked in a relationship. You were hooked to one. Am I lying? Sometimes DHS. Oh, come on. DHS. I remember a lady who reported me false reports to the assistant headmaster. But neighbor and my was why I done it's me now. Hey, was why I oh my punishing me 2 hours kneeling down. You know, oh yeah, loud there, we think to the man. So we take sure do now. Oh, we didn't want to go, we can't touch. Me wo ba baby wo no one timi hija but say she o do mo no ai o ko be kra wo nim say the drew anopa o timi sie ne do fo no o yi message na come on because that because I love him. Oh, you know something? Love is very sweet. Is that right? Love is very sweet. But then, if you are not careful, you will ruin your entire life because of love. Because of one man said, love. This thing called love. Love. That is why it's expedient, it's advisable, it's the best that you at your ages, we take you through some of these seminars. We take you through, so you thank the leadership of your ministry for making this seminar a success for you. Many people have ruined their entire lives because they were hooked in the wrong relationships. The love, hello? Hello? So today I'm taking you through some of these things. How many of you believe that once you are in love with someone, it's enough for you to marry the person? If you believe that once, we are in love, that is enough for you to marry the person. If you believe that, raise up your hand. Hey, no hands up. So you don't believe that? Okay. You believe that once you are in love, you must go ahead and marry. Let's give it to him. That is his view. Okay, how many of you believe that even if you are in love, you should look at other things, other qualities? Hey, some of you, your hands were not up first, your hands were not up now. So you are in between. Okay, let them come and stand in the middle ground. They can't sit down, they should be in the middle ground. Okay, at the end of this seminar, you will understand and know what to do. Hello? When you are of age, you should know how how to identify the right partner. Because when you marry the wrong partner, everything you call love becomes hatred. Everything you call joy becomes bitterness. Everything you call happiness becomes sorrow. Hello? Nyame can say, who wrong relationship one. Now we marry wrong partner. And each year would you really when you have done our home? Or don't know what they worry, you know, a better or time. Hello? How many of you believe that? You believe what I'm saying? Hey, I feel the studying in our opinion. And now, the person may know the shakes are within that short period, maybe 45 weeks. How to identify the right partner. You may be the best husband in the universe. You may be the best wife in the universe. If you are tied, if you are hooked to the wrong spouse, people will see you as evil. For example, the best husband, one is responsible, 2 loving, 3 caring, 4 God-fearing. These are the qualities of a good husband. Nothing else. I said nothing else. All that your husband needs to do for you to be happy and comfortable in life is loving, caring, responsible, and God-fearing. Some men have all these qualities, but because they have been hooked in the wrong relationships or hooked to the wrong partners, even the good qualities in them cannot come out. Let me give you an example. If you are a loving and caring husband and you are joined or you are in union with an insubordinate woman, careless woman, it can get to a point that everything you are supposed to do out of your love and care and God-fearing attitude, you can't do it. Because I had to say, oh God, no was scattered. What's in the mechanism? Oh God, now the parts are near scattered. What about the woman? You can be the most ideal type of wife, a virtuous wife, as the Bible puts it. Who can find a virtuous wife? What are the qualities of a virtuous wife? Hardworking, submissive, God-fearing, respectful. Hardworking, submissive, God-fearing, and respectful. You may have all these qualities. If you are in marriage with an irresponsible man, no matter how hardworking you are, you can't provide enough for your family. Do you get what I'm saying? As a woman, no matter how hardworking you are, you can't provide enough for your family if your husband is irresponsible. Someone tell the American, say, Opa, your work, family dreaming, opening a scar, or the wings, a massive, I will be 7. Try your best to yourself, over my bear man in the name of running the there are some areas of your marriage life and your family life, you need the cooperation of a responsible husband. Two, that irresponsible, indisciplined husband. Abibia or my troubles. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
That is why you need to be careful when choosing a partner. Okay, those in the other world, almost the idea, may a sample, but the future. But in your case, I said in your case, I can't. Do you know why? You are going by the principles of the Bible. If you do what I say, yes, I'm going to be able to okay. Say, me book now, and you see. But that is why a Christian dear was a way careful when choosing a partner. So today I'm going to give you some clues for identifying the right partner. Until you need to identify the right partner before you try to attract the right partner. If you have not identified the right partner and you are attracting a partner, you may be attracting the wrong partner. You can jot it down. If you have not identified the right partner and you are trying to attract a partner, you will end up or you may end up attracting the wrong partner. Why is it difficult for you to attract the right partner? Identify the right partner. Other brand they say, and then go be who say, because if you are one in the colleges, one in the class, or one in the cook, if you crowd in that slave, you are and someone say, so women so I'm a show interest. Also, can ask who feeling so you do. Many family or you do. Hello? Yes, sir. Yeah. At then a money difficult so meeting you. Appearance is deceptive. Period. I said what? Appearance is deceptive. That is why it's difficult to identify the right partner. And yes, oh, so you pay the Uhuna near what's in Sana, what's here, Pepe, can you do? But some people, how they appear, and yes, Anna, in working on here, or one thing. For example, let me use myself as an example. There are some people that will me for the first time almost in Pekasa. Hello? Oh, baby. 1 hour, 2 hours, 8. I said, oh, Casasa. Hello? Pekasa. Ocean and Nima, they do so with ya. 80. Umena, Ocean, I only said, hey, brother, don't Pekasa. Oh, sorry, my I'm worried with you. Oh, man, this is you. Now, what am I worried? That is why I don't encourage that kind of fast connection. What's a fast connection? I say that is what some pastors and so-called teachers are preaching, and even counselors. It's dangerous, very dangerous. I don't encourage it. It's very dangerous. Yes. I remember a few months or weeks ago, I met a nice, beautiful lady. I was talking to her. She said, "Yeah, me pick you serious. When I'm serious now, I can offer such." And I said, "Oh wow, yeah, ready." So I don't know now. Are you ready for marriage? Because yes, now I said, "What do you know about marriage?"
Okay, yeah, why is serious? Within 1 month, yeah, or what? What do you do about marriage? Oh, hello. That is how it looks. That is how it looks. So, appearance is deceptive. And there are other people who, when they see me, for example, they will meet me for the first time when I'm very aggressive, talkative, dynamic, and this. There is no crowd. But when they have come very close to me, later they begin to confess. Do you know what I'm saying? So appearance is what? Deceptive. That is why you need to be careful when identifying the right partner. What I'm saying doesn't mean that we know. Someone may not be good for you, may be good for dinner. Someone may be good for you, not good for dinner. Okay. So what do? We are going to learn the principles. I will identify the right partner in your case, not in my view. What I said, in your case, not in the case. So I am going to teach you about 4 or 5 basic principles. Would you be the right partner? So we all bad. So we are. Though this is not a spiritual seminar, it's a relationship seminar. As human beings in this world, we can't do away with the spiritual life totally. So, in my view, confirmed by what I've learned, the right partner, always the first attribute or characteristic of the right partner is God-fearing. If you meet a man or woman who fears God, that is the best. Make up God fearing and you will be our son dressing. The name I know say. Oh, the Bible. Oh, sorry. Hello. And you're not a God fearing man. And you're Obana was gone from the comb to see the name. The company matches and Papa and cry and I want a God fearing. A God fearing man or woman is determined by what is in the person's heart and mind. The spirit the person will carries. So you may not be able to determine or detect say in power in a spirit saying it, but there are ways how to be steady. A God-fearing man or woman always goes by the principles of God in life. That is the simplest strategy you can use. A God-fearing man or woman always goes by the principles of God, the Bible. So in their decision making, they always look at what does God want. Hello? What does God want? No matter the situation at hand, no matter the issue at stake, what they do is God happy with this decision? That is what I'm referring to as a God-fearing man. Okay, now I want you to note some importance or benefits of attracting or marrying a God-fearing man or woman. Every man wants a submissive woman. But what? Every God-fearing woman is submissive because the Bible advises that women should be what? Submissive. So once you marry a God-fearing woman, not for your sake, but for the sake of God, that woman will automatically be what? Submissive. Hello? Every woman wants a man who is loving and caring. Is that right? The Bible advises men to be loving. So, if you meet a man who is God-fearing, even if not for your sake, not for the sake of your beauty, for the sake of the word of God, that person will always be what? Loving and caring. What you say? A routine when you are looking at the right partner, the first characteristic should be what? The person should be God-fearing. I said this is not a Christian or spiritual seminar, so you are not going to be reading Bibles. You understand? This is purely a marriage seminar. Though we will not go far away from what the Bible says as Christians. Hello? So the first thing you should notice, this man or woman I have met or I have seen, are they God-fearing? Do they fear God? Do they eschew God? It's not about how beautiful she looks, how attractive. You know, sometimes, you can meet a lady, sometimes, Yahoo. Remember, Yahoo. You and me, she's, but you know, God is the most creative architecture. Or draw the fire. Perfect. I have some daughters in my ministry, they are like that. But maybe I have around that, not a new. Hello? But listen, it's not about the beauty. It's not about the beauty, because beauty fades away. So you should not be hooked by the beauty of the woman. You should not be hooked by the nice appearance of the man. Even if that man is beautiful, you know a beautiful man, he's gone beyond a handsome man. Do you understand? A man who is extremely beautiful, handsome, we say he is beautiful. There are some beautiful men who married some ladies, and the ladies ran out of the marital homes. Hello? Right. But you cannot marry a God-fearing man and run out of your marital home, because you will be hooked to the house. So God-fearing. God-fearing. The right partner should always be God-fearing. And when I say God-fearing, don't get me wrong, I'm also not talking about God-fearing as in it's opposite. Hello? Yeah, yes, I'm not papa when you go carry. Stay with opposite you. Me carry my content, no I carry for penny for you. So hono, a man will be a person warrior because opposite. Or she out now, Miss Sister Nasokan. But when it was but your was you. Hello. Actually, he's been a handsome, a dear husband. Very dear husband. But what I'm saying is that yes, I always not yet they identify God-fearing man and a woman. Do you understand? I know some ladies who in church bow to their pastors when they are talking to them. But go home and see. They slap their husbands. They slap their husbands. In church, when the husband is there and people are around, Okasa the pacho every sentence the pacho. But if you hey, you get what I'm saying? So a God-fearing husband or wife or man or woman cannot be determined by how the person behaves in church. Do you understand? Cannot be determined by the person's attitude or character in church. You know, I've been a prophet before, a minister before, so I've worked with many ladies and gentlemen. And then some of them, I had the opportunity to meet them outside church premises. And I saw great difference. Sometimes, one friend will say one, the response will come, who say one and the voice as a son. Hypocrisy. So sometimes we have a question. So when you are identified a God-fearing man or woman, it's not about Nipano, Nishiwa, or Bob, I'm sorry, I'm not ministry. Hello. At our workplaces, they say some of the ladies there, the way they look romantic, the way they will talk about some of these love issues, you will think that hey, but get out there and see how they handle their husbands. I've even been told, say, a man and a man, a woman, when it comes to romantic ways, sexual life, or what can't tell most of them, they will feel, all my husbands and wives, they suffer sexually. They don't even have time for them. Hello? So, when you want to identify a God-fearing man or woman, look at how the person applies the principles of God in the Bible. The next thing is a morally sound man or woman. The right partner should be morally what? Sound. As a God-fearing. You know, I was saying a bomb back on, but I've identified, said there are some God-fearing people, but they are morally corrupt. Do they fear God? Say yes, pray. Say yes, they and they mean to mean. Then you jam us off for. The other side, any for. But as a counselor, I have been able to distinguish between a God-fearing person and a morally sound person. Though most God-fearing people are morally sound, but sometimes discuss here, we will distinguish between the two. When we talk of a morally sound person, that person always applies the principles of morality, good morals, and I think underline that or note that. A morally sound person always applies the principles of good morals. Courtesy. Yes, name some of them. Courtesy, politeness, gentility, tolerance, patience. Do you understand? Oh, my daughter here is patience. Patience. Meekness. These attributes we give the title moral attributes. Is that right? Someone may be God-fearing, but now who need you? Oh, and I said, when you say you, he or she sees nothing wrong with if he. Especially those who were brought up in homes and I said communities are a year field, you know. At first I didn't know, but now I've come to realize it. People can say, Opa Waria Pisa. What is our principle? I said, Opa Waria Pisa. What it means is that automatically the environmental influence of a person can have to a greater extent an influence on the person's character and attitude. So if you meet a woman or mommy, a bossy, insubordinate, chaotic, or let me put it this way, nagging, is likely. It doesn't matter how God-fearing the person is. Naturally, a woman has had to be PID. That is why you should be careful when you are identifying a partner. So those of you who try to observe from distances, it's very dangerous. I said it's what? Very dangerous. More about it, let me see here, bear mama ho, let them cover my demo. You marry a lion. Get closer. I say what? Get closer. Don't study from a distance. It's very dangerous because appearance is deceptive. I like your expression. I think it's the best. Can be deceptive. Because some people, how they appear, that is how they are. Hello? But it can be deceptive. So, morally sound. The right partner is morally what? Sound. I know God-fearing people, ladies for example, who are promiscuity. Not because they desire it, but something is pushing them, or something pushing them to do it. Osronya mepa, wuyi enonko afiri wa. Once you say, obia na so wa no. Ti ebia wo no ne na so ano, but we God fearing. Eniema aka nyina wo. Ye ka so obi enso nyame a ya na say pa. Their life mu nyina they don't apply any principle of the Bible. But we want to say or apply in a particular area a weakness. What I say? She is immoral or he is immoral, but God fearing. Will be a God fearing, but very impatient and aggressive. Wild. If you break something, hey, do you understand? Once you have break something, oh, me papa bako, but see a friend demonic stirrings. And yes, I know what you, but sa is soon a day, so the moral aspect of a man or woman's character is also necessary when you are trying to identify the right partner. Hello. So morally sound. Let's look at the next one, which is very important. Compatibility. Compatibility. Only the determine can love because and none of the Diana and then love can be developed. Those of you who don't know, true love can be developed, can be nurtured. So when you meet and everything is all right, if you make up your mind gradually, you can develop the love. Hello. The next thing that is very important is compatibility. Compatibility. Hello. So we'll be asking me Kasanasi. What's your saying? Yeah.
Am I helping you? Am I helping you? Are you sure? Very soon you will come of age. Hello. So compatibility. What is compatibility? I can't define it, but I can illustrate it. I am interested in music, poetry, reading, and drama. But I'm not interested in football. If I meet a lady whose lifetime has been devoted to football, we are not compatible. Because I don't like it at all. To sit down and watch a football for 90 minutes. Have a bit, you know. Hello, and I'm in the back can book. So if a woman or a lady is very much interested, look at the expression, very much interested in sports or football, we are not compatible to some extent. Hello, to some extent, yeah. You cannot use one criterion to conclude that you are not compatible totally. Compatibility comes in ways or levels. So to some extent, we are not compatible. Do you understand? Let's look at other things. I am very much interested in spiritual things and biblical things. So I'm not interested in Oba Tama was it? Or they etie Yakoba Samana or they a bonfire more than you. Oba, or you're very much interested in movies. They're not compatible. I'm not saying I don't watch movies, but when there's something important, I don't want to use that time to watch a movie. So we are looking at compatibility. Let me give you a different scenario. I am not interested in politics because I see politicians as selfish. Like the view I have of politicians is evil, negative, totally negative. You understand? So I don't like politics at all. But you know, there are some people, they take delight in political views and arguments. I'm talking about partisan politicians, not someone going to vote during elections, but partisan politicians. Like they always view in one direction because they support this party. A woman who is like that, I can't deal with her. We are not compatible. You know, some of those people, they don't expect you to express your view or opinion. Do you understand? They are always interested in. A few months ago, I was talking to a lady. Can we have time and talk after work? Oh, after work, you're campaign a man. Hey, do you really want to marry? Hello? Hello? That was the last time I spoke to her. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't see why
At this stage, when you should be praying for a husband, a man has met you, wants to talk to you, or for your campaign. I can't. I have seen an element of partisan politics in here. We cannot be compatible. You understand? Compatibility. So let me now, have you understood compatibility? I was just trying to let you know what it is. We are now going to look at the areas of compatibility. But let's look at what incompatibility means. If you are not compatible with a man or a woman, it means that always there will be what? Conflicts. Not conflicts. Hello? I didn't say conflict because some of you, I said romantic in the room, I make conflicts, but they make conflicts. I'm not talking about that. It's not conflicts, it's conflicts. There will always be conflicts, chaos, misunderstanding if you are not compatible. Especially if the rate of compatibility is very high, or if the point of compatibility is very strong. Not the two. We have rate of compatibility and we have point of compatibility. Let me show you the difference. The rate of compatibility means that you share a lot in common or you have a lot of what differences. That is talking about the rate. Do you understand? Actually, no two people can be totally equal, 100% compatible. There will always be a level of incompatibility. Even identical twins, they can never be 100% compatible. In a second, hello? Yes. But when you are looking at it in terms of marriage and relationship, we talk about the rates. Some people say no one is perfect. I don't talk about perfection now. Because what you think is imperfect may not be imperfect to the partner. Or it's not because but it's because sometimes the compatibility is very poor, low. Hello?
Okay, go ahead.
We were talking about point of compatibility and rate of compatibility. Let me show you the difference. You know, everyone has something particular you dislike most in your life. Something particular you dislike most in your life or in certain areas of your life. For example, when it comes to marriage or relationship, I can endure, I'm using my case as I can endure everything but not infidelity, promiscuity, adultery, unfaithfulness. If my partner commits adultery or becomes promiscuous, involves herself in infidelity, sexual, extramarital affairs, I find it difficult for giving. You understand? You can slap me, you can stab me, you can even decide not to sleep with me for 1 year. I don't care. I can easily forget. But if I find you, but if I find you cheating, even once, it takes the grace of God for me to forgive. So that is my point of compatibility. So if I meet you and you have many weaknesses, and that one is not part, the rate of incompatibility may be high, but the point of compatibility may be okay. Because in spite of all your weaknesses, you are all mine. I am like God, jealous God. Hello? You understand? But I have a friend. We've been friends for long. He doesn't look at those things much. What he cares most is that after a hard day's work, whenever he comes home, afternoon, morning, evening, you can give him romantic, enticing sex. Hello?
Bye.
Once you are able to do that, he doesn't consider other things much. That is what we call point of compatibility. Some men are also like this. All they want to see is that you are very hardworking, you support the family financially. If you are like that, they don't care where you go. They don't even want to know what you are doing. Say maybe everyone, say maybe a soul they don't care. Once I call you know, you do it and I was missing what is carved to table so. Ama ono ne de na wo de be no wo di so so ade aka wo de ahye ne gutuma na wo de ato na account ma de no de no wo no nya se. That is what you call point of what? Compatibility. So you see that in my case, I may be very compatible with a woman in all areas. If that woman is unfaithful, though the rate of compatibility may be high, the point of compatibility will be what? Critical. Do you get it? Or any other be pray, but say, "Bad man, myself, never one." Need to be an because though we are highly compatible, maybe me pay music or pay music, me didi me pay say or be okay, but a whole point, you know, because that is my interest, that is the critical point. A non point to be to me, and I see it to international. Hello, but me to be so push will be a quadro. Or to say, but Bema, we see them. O Casano, who are women, or one we say, or near ready, say, or no will communicate. Such a woman, say, Mr. Dino Sampa, a genuine, a fake in India. Any other woman, I mean, oh, yeah, that is me. Maybe I will get this. You may not be interested in a man who will be totally faithful to you. That is not what you are looking at. But that you don't care much about that. But who pay man of a crop roll? Hello? There were many who also do a Niku. Oh, yeah, master, I would see now with you soon. Okay. Name it the entisa. Oh, and yet now you see me. Hello? Do you understand? That is it. So we have the point of compatibility. So you may be very compatible, but incompatibility get to a bare mono. But there wasn't a your interest. It's very critical. In such a situation, you have to be very careful when you are deciding. Because you may be flattered by the high rate of compatibility. But more because that small rate of incompatibility, so a 1 year old interest power in a year. Hello? In Yankeka areas, no, I'm just trying to explain to you point of compatibility and rate or level of compatibility. What I say? Let's look at rate. Maybe we'll be here. Set a year the key point, say the key point. May I hear or you feel you're gentle or you're careless. You understand? Meeting or Pencomo. Almost everything I mean, the army in here. It doesn't mean that or no name yet, and I mean, we are not compatible. So, the more the areas of incompatibility, the higher the rate of incompatibility. Hello? The more the areas of incompatibility, the higher the rate of incompatibility. And the more the areas of compatibility, the higher the rate of compatibility. This one is not talking about point of compatibility. We are talking about rate of compatibility. Adeɛ biara a wobɛka biara no ɔno kuta opposing view. Wɔn ɔbaa bi ahyia decision a wobɛtake biara no ɔno contradict. That means that the rate of incompatibility is high. Recently, my daughter can say, "Hey, mama, she said, me a man make biara ɔne maa bi nifa." Saa ɔno so bi, ya na yɛ mama. That means that they are highly what? Compatible. When you are highly compatible, you don't usually see arguments between you. I'm not saying say a macro, but usually it will not happen. And even when there's a misunderstanding, it doesn't usually lead to what? Arguments. Hello? And it doesn't mean someone will be here pretending everything is compatible. Hello? It doesn't mean that pretending everything is compatible. Because that one is also dangerous. Well, I wouldn't say open casa. Ralph bow in chains. I said, I you ding. Yes, sir, Ralph will say, hey, party of Pecasa. Who will come for that? Hello? Deception is very what? Dangerous. Be real. Be real. Let the person know who you are and how you are. Now deciding about one answer. I said let the person know how you are so that you can decide whether the relationship can help you or not. Hello? Because if you pretend, if you flatter, you will get into the wrong relationship and marry the wrong person, and the rest of your life will become misery. You will live a miserable life. Hello?
Hi.
So me answer na be who or baby answer na me approach no. If the same is telling you who say or you deceptive or you deceptive. Because they are operating there no. And I have a way I may do material. Nipa operating there no. Who pay no 100 years, you will never know the real person. Just say when you hooked answer. What in a worry area shaka one if you are what in and son I'll be to see the party on your day. Hello. Recently I read something. I was it on a phone or the book. But say, don't try to be who you are not. Be the real you so that you can attract the real people towards you. Don't try to be who you are not. Be the real you so that you can attract the right people towards you. Open spouse. Now when we say main spouse, or pretend it is a open spouse, now I mean the worry we are. What is going to happen? Tell our best or her board, baby. Tis a woman submissive, Obekasa, Melbourne also, Obefa, what happens? There will be always chaos in the family. Hello? That is it. So be real, then attract the right person. Hello? Open sports. Be a fan of football fanatic. involve yourself in football chats. Go and watch footballs and do many other things. Then you will meet the right person, a man who is also interested in sports at that place. Hello? Hi. Listen, if you want to attract or find the right partner, the person you will be very compatible with. Idea will be to talk baby at a and now we see the right partner. You know, let me chip in this. Some of you guys and ladies, you are fake. Oh, you fake bar. Or when you say of a bear man, they need to out him. But also, yeah, sorry, they go to a. How dare you? Hello? But when you say of a bar, or ye make us a shit to so. And so the now we've worked in our second. Hello? Listen, if you know that your time is due, the set time for you to choose a partner is due. Get to the right place. Let me tell you, there are some places, if you go there, you will definitely meet a partner. Hello? And the kind of partner you meet will be determined over the kind of partner will be determined by where you met the person. Continue to go and for about now, especially since our one and a warrior or bet if you are yet, I will know better. Hello? It's a mistake. Let me chip in this also. Never think of marrying the wrong person with the aim of shaping him or her. Hello? Never think of marrying the wrong person with the aim of shaping him or her. That is why you need to be smart in identifying the right partner. You know, the problem we have is that we are always in a hurry to have sex. Hello? You heard me? I said the problem we have is that we are always in a hurry to have sex. 6, 5, 6, 7. Hello? You get it? Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying here? When you are hooked by sex, you can't think. Oh yeah. When you are hooked by sex, you can't think. For example, you know, when you want to study a partner and see how compatible or right the two of you may be, you should be very objective, not subjective. And the moment you are drowned in sexual intercourse, you become blind and deaf. I said you become blind and deaf. Do you understand? Although you associate, although you differ, it's never true. It's never true. And your last move, and it is her. So don't be hooked by lust. I said, no, don't be hooked by lust. A man cannot enter. As you can't be objective. So you study from distance. You notice certain things, then you get closer. All this while, not lasting of any absent. Sometimes you may be fortunate enough to identify certain things, then you realize that you probably here, and then why. Hello? Hi. But you know the problem. You've been hooked by 6. So, Yeah, you will not solve the solution or I don't know in a different seminar. How to keep the right path or how to keep your relationship going. Hello. Once you are good in a relationship for some reasons, then you need to work things out to make it successful. But right now I am talking to you as people who are yet identifying or choosing partners. You understand? Everything I made sure of how principles real. When I meet married people, I see different things. You go on here. When you are worried, that is it. You know, have hello. Hello? That is it. So, but you know, the best time to be wise and smart is before you say, I do. Take note of that. I said the best time to be wise or smart is before you say, I do. And when it comes to comparing before you say I do and the time you are choosing the path, you are identifying, then the time you are identifying is better than the time you are going to say I do. You understand? Let me show you the difference. Someone may take his or her time to identify the right partner, attract the right partner, and then say I do to the right partner. Hello? That is the best. You are smart and wise before you identify and attract the right partner. You are not committed to each other. You are not hooked in any relationship. Hello? Mwawa, wisely, calmly, you will retreat back home. But it can happen that for some reasons or mistakes, you have been in that relationship already. Still, it is better at that time for you to study and take the right decision than to marry before you what? Regrets. Hello? Than to marry before you regrets. But they have been said for many reasons I can't discuss all here. Nobody will say no relationship is not working. And so or person or working or person say what they want you will kill yourself. You will kill your future. You will kill your career. You will kill everything, and you will even ruin the lives of your children. Who is married? I will kill well and cry and suffer. More. If a marriage doesn't work well, the children suffer. The children always become victims of more. So if you really care about your kids, your unborn kids, then take your time and identify, attract, and keep the right partner. Because if you go for the wrong partner, you have jeopardized the entire lives of your children. I said, if you find yourself in the wrong marriage or relationship, you have jeopardized the entire lives of your children. So you may think that you are bringing them up well, you are training them well. But enough said marriage, because the marital home, the family, is the first place that almost see good morals. You get what I'm saying? So in a marriage where there is always chaos, confusion, arguments, insubordination, abuse, these are the characteristics the children will develop. It doesn't matter what you are teaching them. Do you understand? It doesn't matter what you are teaching them. So there are some of my sons and daughters. Some people may not understand why I'm edasune or I've read, I said, or attitude, no. It was cultivated from childhood. Recently, we found ourselves in the midst of my brother B, the in-laws. And bẹ́ẹ̀ma no kàràyà sẹ ọmọ ọ̀bọ̀n kọ̀má bí èmi àjẹ ẹ̀na ọ̀ka àsẹ ẹ̀nyà àsẹm ẹ̀yẹ ẹ̀wọ́ sẹ ẹ̀yẹ ẹ̀fúfú o bèbí a ọ̀bá ní síà bẹ́ẹ̀ma no èsì ẹ̀ ní yẹ àsẹm àtọ̀ sẹ wá sí tìrì síà ní kúrò wọ̀ yẹn ní sẹ yà what do you think will happen? And check ya benya report bi I just said similar things in a shall say is but the marriage is very young. You understand where from its background. So what am I saying? Because their marriage is not working well, their beautiful sons and daughters are cultivating wrong or bad habits. I've identified a trait in my system and in the system of some of my brothers and sisters. But also, closely, but we say is something in our parents. Though unconsciously we don't know what is happening, but I've identified, I've taken my time recently to look at it. The say it's in our parents. Hello. There are some character traits you may see in your parents. Even if you are not exhibiting them now, the probability say the same thing unconsciously and involuntarily later in life, so frequently and answer once in a blue moon, a high, unless you are conscious and careful enough to deal with it. So in the same way, if you are living with the wrong partner or if you marry the wrong partner, mama ebe picking the negatives not in because more relationship is not working well. And it doesn't matter what you are teaching them. Let me give you an example. The best person of which you and submission and humility is your mother. Take this from me. The mother, because the father is the overall boss in the house. So the best person or best submission, humility, and total respect is your mother. How? By being an example for them in the house. Hello? Children always look at, or mostly look at how the mother relates to the father, then they imitate the same thing, knowing that the father is the symbol of authority. So the mother no, father they think say, or it becomes part of them when they are also dealing with authorities. The best person to teach children how to be responsible is a father. Why? The father is the breadwinner of the family. And papa, when you're responsible, even if you are not rich, you try your best always to get what you can, and then you bring them closer to you, you get closer to them. Do you know what I'm talking about? Was that born away will teach the children how to show love and be responsible. So what I realized is that family are mother and father, and now especially father no, or yet kind, or yet caring, or yet loving, they are, or yet responsible. They are. The children grow to become kind. And the family are mother is submissive, insubordinate, and disrespectful. They are, and grow they go to become rebellious children. So that is why I said it is the best now for you to identify the right partner before you say I do. What mass? Before you say I do. But one thing is this. No matter how morally sound the two of you are, it's a rate of incompatibility no higher. The marriage will still not work well. Because all the time, one of you or both of you will be hurting each other. Because you are not compatible. Not that one or both of you are doing wrong things, so. But the truth is that I think I will any right cry and any in fact. But there's no wrong if a decent woman can have a male friend and be faithful to the husband. Watch I say. So you may be a woman who is faithful, which you say you can control yourself no matter the kind of friends I will keep. But if you have a partner like me, I don't believe that. So when you are in relationships with other men or another man, a normal, a carnal relationship, a platonic. You know we have a carnal relationship and platonic relationship. Carnal friendship no, involve sexual and romantic things. What I say, and then platonic may a normal friendship like one of my spiritual father. What I say, open myself, but there's nothing more platonic. You know, a woman may be in a platonic relationship with a person of the opposite sex or a man or a boy. But because your partner is like me, highly jealous, he will always be suspicious. So unless the woman is humble and submissive enough to withdraw from that relationship, or not begins a one yet, also begins a 1 year, but actually, Yamit the movie room say Ubiana at the Bonnie. Do you get it? So when it comes to compatibility, it's not about whether one of them is bad or the other is good. But the fact that your characteristics, your nature, in nature you differ, you will always have problems. Let me give you another scenario. Is it wrong for a woman to watch a movie or a football in the house? But there are some men, they don't like to keep a woman always watching movies. They think you are not responsible. Do you get it? Hey, when you marry such a man and you are watching a movie, there will be problems. Not because what you are doing is wrong, but because of the view of your partner. So what are we supposed to do? At the beginning, don't go in or don't say I do to a man who is not interested in movies. Period. Hello? or who is not interested in movies and doesn't expect you to be interested in movies. Me say, and you never want to be interested by my partner, yeah, I don't care. You get it? Because it's not the key point or the critical point of what incompatibility. They pay movies, but seven or now movie as long as we share the what's we the away any problem. Make us a we did the Amazon. But there are some men they didn't know on your day on pay. You get it? For example, I can be with you, you are my wife or fiancé. Let's make it also. You see, all right. Whatever I'm supposed to do, I will be doing it. But let me take that also. Now, when me eating, I don't care. But some men cannot take that. Baby, move on. The least distraction, you know, idea all you want to be in and yet. For example, there are some guys eating a top baby child and lap swap. Something will trigger. You understand? Something will trigger. So such a man, although we busy, is Yandiana or Bompire, or Besset would do obey it. So the away and there's nothing wrong with it, but Rebecca said 1 year or hard. What difference in you? That is why you need to be careful in identifying a man or woman with whom you are highly compatible. Not 100% compatible, but highly compatible. Let me give you this scenario. Some years ago, I met a lady somewhere or shop. Or said on your own pebema or tifa or pebema or your business. We have bad manager crowd because they are baby fees. Not because of the money. Initially, I'm here, but not because of the money. So, what was so interested in marriage? But later on, because she had no way. And I was so living in the my parents said, or do was the next come but for your business. Now, sir, I didn't say was a but or cry, you go or cry 1 month on year or my. That is it. And not just upon yet. Many people will say you will need to buy most is sanity or be freedom my but we saw yes sir if you buy a phone or here. Hello? So how can you know all these things when you are with the person at the beginning of the relationship? When you are dating, that is the period. The time you are when we say dating doesn't mean you are having sexual sex, though there can be carnal dating. We have different types of dating. But dating actually is a period of time you move together, you work together, you do almost everything. Listen, I said almost, not everything, almost everything together with the aim of studying each other to see how compatible you are. Hello? To see how compatible you are. So during the dating, you need to state all these things to know that indeed we are compatible. There's nothing wrong with it if you love a people and you marry a woman or a man who loves NDs. Nothing wrong with that. It's not about the political differences. But what makes it dangerous is when one of them sees the other as an enemy because they are. Did you get it? May NPP like the typical accounts. Anything you say negative about NPP, whether it's true or not, we are thankful. When one of you or both of you are like that, then you can't marry. You cannot marry. When you meet a man who always wants you to support the political party now or war. You cannot marry such a person. Unless a woman you don't care. When you meet a woman who always wants you to support views our own you cannot marry. Unless say you don't care. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. When I say unless say you don't care, meaning say or your person you can do it for him or her. Of fact. But I mean say you cannot force me to like what you like. Because that is what you like. You can't force me. Say me won't say what is that. The two of us will be incompatible. Hello? So you need to study all these things. Let me talk to you about another area. I always talk about compatibility. You will why you are here, pa. Obia na money deal of them. And how almost said what minute now obey because habit once cultivated is very difficult to do away with. I'm not talking about say simple weaknesses due. But to say you if when the environment becomes filthy on farm, if the environment becomes disorganized on farm, obey to me at yes, obey disorganizing place more. Obey disorganizing for a moment, but at the right time, obey organizing home. But you know, some people they don't care at all. Even if the place becomes filthy or disorganized for 1 year, or you're okay, because such environment will fear a buy. Wow, yeah, say it tonight. Don't waste your time to study such a person and how. Hello. I am someone who is very much interested in language and actions. See, Oshania, Oba, or snowball or make cheeky answers. Can I be with such a person? But there will be a war or no, or cast someone, and any a war now will come away. So woman I say woman me so me. Hello. Time oba or opuna or make cheeky answers like the words any attractive. When it's not a baby. I obey me go on phone. You don't say obey me go on you hear say oba man freedom man high time. Not tough time high time. On flexi around. Whatever I would be our farm. Okay, Juma. Upon 10. Let's say will be true fee to our own farm or not so farm. Or back 1 year and 1 year. We see if you wait, see it doesn't care. Obedra, obey, Yanni, bed. Shiano, seven or farm 1 year on farm. You see, say, many say by different way. Because men of Abba I'm not interested there. Men pay for if you are a person here, even when it comes to outing, there's a level of incompatibility with outing and your attitude towards outing one. It true maybe a more warrior than one. How? Jenna, you will be our pet flexing. All the time she wants to go out. Ralph, he will be our spiritual. All the time he wants to be in, unless a spiritual program. The two of them can never marry. No matter what, if you try, there will always be chaos. Unless one of them decides to be a fool and control himself or herself. But that one is also dangerous. Do you know why? You will die early. When you keep swallowing bitter experiences, painful experiences, because you feel say, "I'm not when you are So don't even go in for such a person. Hello? So if you want to identify the right pattern, these are some of the things you should be looking at. If you are a man like me, very jealous, highly jealous, the next of king of God. God is very jealous and I'm his next of king. Oba, ope, ope, like, and never go, attracting a man. What is any part more area? So the moment I looked at my I was some more part. And I want you about what is that, Bema, what is seven. Don't even say I do to him. And family is it how I oh, and family are proper the proper. Obama, young someone yet, but not yes, I know what's here. And your lifestyle, that is what you desire. So, what do? Look at the person, study the person objectively and then later subjectively, and then look at the person well. And he said, we soon and never dear fact, are we compatible? To what extent are we compatible? What is the rate of compatibility and what is the rate of incompatibility? Then above all, what is the point of compatibility? The critical point of compatibility. Even if the rate of compatibility is higher than the rate of incompatibility, and the critical point of compatibility no poor. How? Niamu share in common in our critical point no point no matter what the man does, maybe they say sika we maybe all the baby the man. Bema we like stingy. Because anabema who focus be our person watching you materially and financially and why. You know why? There be only the answer. Because the expectation, is demanding. Your expectation is what? Savings and investments. Oh, I have one dangerous. But now, 50 cedis a day, if you crowd when it's 5,000, I was said for so many, so at least you move 4,000 a year. Now, when they need to woman 50 cedis a day, and pass a man. Hello? There are some women like that. They don't look at what you are giving to them. It's where, or when you compare to someone what the person is receiving. The person is either comparing to Ubia or Unya Kesesino and are comparing to what salary now or you get it? So you need to know all these things. Let me briefly talk to you about how to study compatibility. It's not always by observation, sometimes communication you can use it. Verbal communication. As you are with the person during the dating period, ask questions. For example, you want to know the person's concept or view of money or how to handle finances. Hey, Ralph, situation in a thousand cities. I want to say the yes, say ya, response. Sometimes you can raise a point concerning areas like politics. Look at how the person will argue it out or respond. You will know if I know. You know, I don't know, it takes the person unawares. You get it? But then I also, hey, let's see here. There's a very easy for you. How are very active? Was actually or a partisan politician? You understand? If you know say nipa no or you are affiliated to a NPP, say that kind of something negative about NPP, how very reacting. And what can something positive about NDC, the way of very reacting. And what I know I done no can positive about your woman. No, I can. You will be studying the person. Sometimes you can raise a topic and just say, oh, but any argument too. But what is taking the reaction? Who said the reaction not going negative? Then you withdraw. I'm sorry. But now we'll follow one day. That's what you're saying. We'll follow one day. Hello? I've been doing that. I've been doing that. It's one way I will investigate. And you can also study from a distance. When the person is not around you and the person is with others, then you observe how the person reacts. Because sometimes some people are so smart, say, when determines our person will know, especially man it is sampa. Or by man say bema or baby. Because we can't have a ground for making man or we can. Sometimes when the person is around you, you will not get the right information. Hello? But when the person is with others, you can even get someone who is a friend of that person. Especially as a way or baby or anything. Also, one father down for going to be so. But sometimes when the two of them are there and go, later on, when you do command, oh, find it out from. Hey, how you are reacting and not to situations. I brought out with you home. It doesn't mean say, oh, I down for back, or see I will need it. No, I no come and send anything down for original. Hello, original. But I'm talking about, for example, in your case, 1, 2, you are friends already. 3, 4, you are friends already. So sometimes you can talk to 5, 6, you can talk to maybe now or 4, for example, concerning certain things. You understand? And yes, I was in Ipana, maybe so I will produce the person. No? That is why you need to get a good person. For example, me say, maybe will be no open information here tomorrow. I will give you great information. If there's a need for me to advise you as well, I will do. You get it? Sometimes also you can, from a short distance, or no more communicate and no you distance yourself. I will see, and I wonder how an reaction here. Sometimes unaware, the one of the first one respond to situation. You can use that to know say the power to say and your memory are compatible and I say that you're compatible. Hello? Are you there? A different way is what about mediation and by seeking the opinion of more knowledgeable and more experienced people. Seeking the opinions of more knowledgeable and more experienced people. First, I said, when you are with a person, ask questions. Pose or create situations, scenarios, and scenes, and see how the person will react. Ask questions, observe reactions, and other things. Create scenes and situations. The second, I said, observe from a distance. By observing and asking other people around. So I ask the right person. You understand? Then third, I'm saying that you can seek the opinion and advice of experienced or more knowledgeable people. The major problem of our generation, the youth of our generation, is ignorance. And what worsens that case is what? Inability or unwillingness to study. Everyone can be ignorant in one way or the other. But what was saying the ignorance is when you are not willing or ready to study. Especially sometimes when it is out of complacency or carelessness. Hello? Complacency or carelessness. You know, there are some people who are ultimately penibia, who do say, who obey the dear football and whatever, but who penny say, maybe on this guy, on the way, or you say, and as well, especially when it comes to marriage and relationship, or any partner, maybe an award year, and I say, maybe a dipano, or yet a little immoral. Let me tell you, who are they may go over. OTT on the wife. It's not because they will be super. Only with you command, you will understand. And no problem for one woman or partner, no. I'm talking about the guys. Do you get it? A man or money, they usually don't give good advice to young ladies. Oh yeah. A man 24. They usually don't give good advice to young ladies. Because obey Pia will mentality the same man. Even those who are enjoying their marriages and don't want to give even an aunt the chance to come in between, they still hold the view say, man. Men are not like, you know, women are emotional. You can treat her, you can give her the best treatment. 1 minute. Who offended the kid to baby? And I will disappoint the kid to baby. So, if you are a young person, don't seek relationship advice from women. And a bear must she penny years and whiskey. You see, she penny years and whiskey. And even in all these things, who said, is this person I'm talking to, is he God fearing? Because, and how do you know that a person you are seeking advice from a God fearing? An advice for people who are biblical. In choosing a partner, if you want to solicit the opinion or view of any man, next advice not a man or my back will be doing so won't see it now and you're contradicted here by all can stay away from the person. Don't stay, run. Once you find yourself applying ungodly or unbiblical principles, you say what life will be the same. Hello. But you see, people who are set their life for a cool years advice or the man be based on moral principles and the word of God. Then you know, say, the super yo, the emission. Listen, there are some adulterous men, they give very good advice. But I'm yet to find one adulterous woman or man who two young people for say, and or they try to justify what they are doing. Why? Because you know, in the case of a woman, it's very shameful, disgraceful. But why? So they try to justify, say, they are on cassette on yet. But men are not like that. Men are very reasonable and rational when it comes to these things. Charlie, the master may be a why you know. I'm sure some of you might have heard that before. But how many times now what is of baby catch it? Say, may I say you you be almost say and I what be that? You will not hear it. But what taxes a man make Charlie Master here and Sunday like my brother who came here the other time, the Rasta. And come on, 2 days no by in Natchez, now obey it, be tiny how yeah. Yeah. That is how men are. They are real. But women, they are emotional. Look at the two. Men are real. Women are emotional. To honor your better and come better the more. Okay. You understand? So when you are seeking relationship advice, the best for you to go to is a man. Especially the one who is God fearing. Not you guys now. We don't have any sense. Who's a man? And your man when you run and need that or pursue you be papa. Seek advice from some people. It will help you to know say you pay a need dating. Is he the right partner or not? Is he the right partner or not? Because there are certain things you may see, you may not know what they imply, but experienced person or not. And sometimes don't even experience. There are certain things go a war. And I'm saying, like because you are too close, you don't see it clearly, but people far away can see and understand it better than you yourself. Hello? End of first session. Question. Question. Any question? Yes.
I've had a statement that when dating Christian brothers, they are very boring. How true?
Oh, it's not true. And those who give that expression or advice, you know, a man cancer. Their view of Christian brothers now is even questionable. One will only say Christian brother. Hi sister, oh, and then you remember 4 o'clock we'll pray it. Yeah, for an for the count, why? They are Christian brothers. That's not the Christian brother. Amen. I can't amen because we are talking about Christian brothers. Hello. Yeah, it will take time to.
For Jesus Christ.
Hello. When we say a Christian brother, a real Christian brother is what I talk about. God fear. God fear. The person fears God. Hello. The person fears God. The person applies principles of the Bible all the time. How can such a person, how can you be in a relationship with such a person and feel bored? Such a relationship can never be boring. Because even the Bible itself gives principles for entertaining your partner. And it may also depend on that woman near Osikino. Emma boring. How does she see a boring relationship? Only women or view of boring relationship and a Christian woman. A Christian woman sees a boring relationship as the one in which the man is not responsible, loving, caring. The man is indisciplined, not God fearing. And then that woman sees an attractive relationship as the one in which the man is God fearing, responsible, caring, and loving. Do you understand? So it depends on you which of them you want. Hello? It depends on which of them you want. It's not true. And the Christian brothers, let me advise you here. The fact that you're a Christian doesn't mean you cannot be romantic. Sometimes you are more fake to walk a That won't fit you feeling to work and cry. Everything spiritual. Oh, vampire. Or banning for yourself or play romance like I would in theatre. So now I did. Everything now go parent your fire. What's the one eating won't your fire? One has said, Nitina, that was eating with your fire. Then you have to be your closet to get it easy. And yet, for marital bed is on our way. You can create a place, a solitary place. That is it. And then you can also talk it over. Oh, this hour here may go one pie. So man. No. Don't assume. Because I've told you that maybe say, no matter how spiritual high I've gone, I can still be romantic. You can even come and lie on me, kiss me, and don't care. Do you get it? That is not sin. If your relationship is sinful, it's already sinful. And yes, I act on one man I is sinful. You get it? So that wants to see you faith. Be romantic. And I know so now we are in a chest of Christian. No. If you fear God, if you are really listen, one day we'll talk about pride and complacency. People can say, Ubi or Casa Hashas need to say what they are proud. No. Pride is more spiritual and attitudinal than actions. Mental. I should not even say attitudinal, mental. More spiritual and mental. How you think and what you feel. And yet, it describes pride. So you can be very quiet and calm, but very arrogant or proud. So, and yet, listen, if you are really, for now, let me be a little prophetic. If you are really mature in the spirit, in your prayer moment, nothing can distract you. If you see that, just anything else, even a housefly, can distract you in your prayer moment or times of meditation, then what it means is that you, that person, you are not spiritually mature. So the problem is not with Nipana or play romance. The problem is with your spiritual life. Sometimes it may be as a result of your attitude. So because you are Christian, it's about an attitude. So if you are that kind of woman like my daughter here, such a person will never worry at them. Net the enemy wrong. Or when they say, Tama, all these serious things, man, maybe not a kind, lady now, or say, or not dear, on pet, Bema, or won't feel all the time, or Bema, one man, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, now I'm 20 days, and more than it won't say any partner will start spiritual high. Was such a person in the here. We can't go Kosher Mountains. Why here run all by? So if she's faithful at all for which that, because no, what do I want to when it change in the head they walk off from? Unless any part of my unfaithful people won't be so by one in change. And then sometimes too, some of them, Obama, Obefili say on Pesa, but on who we are, well, the ladies be careful. Oh, yeah, the responsibility of raising up your kids as a single parent and start here. There you will see the need for your husband to be with you. So it's a very bad character or attitude. So what pay say, oh man, don't seek Bema obi tie. You are for mentality. And yes. That is why whether you are a man or woman, you should learn to keep and entertain your family. Not only your wife or husband, but even your children. Even when you are praying. If you don't get your children around you whenever you are praying, how can they develop that prayerful attitude? They can't. Hello?
Let me say something to add to what you said right now. Your wedding, you are on your side, and yet I have massive those big churches in it. And the man of God have written some book, the 80, but he used the story of 80 in Genesis, but he spoke about marriage, relationship, and he said something similar to what you were saying, that is the carnal mentality, say, I don't want my husband or my wife to be around me all the time because maybe the person feels happy, okay, or to me seeking a prayer, maybe not necessarily say, oh, boy, your mind, but maybe the whole time, or to me, or to me, come on, but he used the Garden of Eden, what happened to Adam and Eve. And when he was speaking, not a demo, everybody was filled with, and no, we are sorry, it was a wedding, but the message came to be like, he said that when Adam was not around, because Adam will be able to withstand the devil, Satan, because on being a maker, but because Adam was not around, he came in and deceived Eve.
Yes.
When he came to deceive Eve, and even so, God has given the power of man. So once upon some enemy deceiving Eve, now Adam and so I say your helper is the Eve. So you don't have power, you have power over the devil, but you don't have power over the woman. So the woman was able to deceive Adam. So he said that when the man is there with you, on some crying a chance, around them. But the moment that this one will say, oh, I'm not around, I want now, or what bet maybe referee, who can cry, they all are boring. No one starting with this uncle, who can cry, they be our cover, who can grow far, come me be our no baby in a business. So then they start to pollute what God has given to you.
Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Hello? You understand it? The absence of one can give room for the devil to penetrate. So even when you are praying and your partner is there, is best. So that you wouldn't be thinking about other women. And that time, you that woman to you should be sexy when you are going there. Listen, don't you the man, don't see it as a sin when or as a temptation. She is yours. She is yours. I just said it. If that relationship is sinful, it's already sinful. And yet that time now one pine and one is sinful. Hello?
Now question. Wait.
Do you understand? So that time look presentable. Get in there. And then the man, if you are disciplined and spiritually mature, at that time instead of your mind roaming around thinking about some sexy lady be a wish it will be centered on your partner. It makes, let me give you an example. I listened to a man of God who is also a married counselor, Pentecost Church of them. He said a teacher gave a testimony during one of his marriage seminars. The teacher said he had these female students, I didn't pray, said, oh, tell you, Williams. Young girl will be best teachers away, Ghana. The hips, he said, be attractive. Na ọba fie so na wakyerɛ na deɛ na ọba fie na ɔtaade a ɔhyɛ ba it was big whether the mentality in the children is and as a girl, but it was big. Was the first time I buy a mobile phone, but you be what you do. So, Obama, as woman, she decided to help the husband. Hey, my reader, so what she also decided to do was that every day, early in the morning, she will wake up, prepare food, dress nicely, look attractive, go to work. Or share time one, girl number around 11, 12. And one time, pair, no asabe fee. The just shop na and cry and so working. No abe. Now, what do you in this world and I know I be several baby. All from one dress, attractive. No abe dress several baby. Or back one. Sometimes 2 rounds. And some of us. And the man testified. After the period, Obuye class, hey, Akusia, I do it your war, me pound. Satan said, yes, I didn't know, yeah. Listen, that is it. If you think that your husband is falling into temptation, you must help him. And you, that man, you must give her the chance to help you. If you really love, that is why I'm talking about the compatibility and other stuff. It becomes difficult handling some of these situations when you are incompatible and you are hurting each other. Listen, if you are really in love and there's no problem, no matter how spiritually high you are or partner or China, you wouldn't be offended. Because in the presence of Eve, Adam always spoke to God. Hello? In the presence of Eve, Adam always spoke to God. God did not send Eve away before talking to God. He never did that. So you can be in your prayer mood. Let me tell you, last year, fire conference, or was it last 2 years? I've told you before. The time I received the theme for the next year, I was planting, was it garden eggs or onion? Listen, God doesn't discriminate. And everything about human beings was created by God. To any time. So if God wants, only that He wants your attention. And that is why I'm talking about spiritual maturity. If you are spiritually mature, no matter the chaos, the confusion around you, you can still hear the voice of your God. Jesus said something. He said, my sheep knoweth my voice. If your father or mother is talking at a funeral, it doesn't matter the number of people around. What's a woman voice? I will say a man in a castle. Accra, Ayawuna, 3 months. Yadina Bora. Also sent and found it there or my casa. I want to tell a baby voice if you never. So if you are spiritually mature enough and you have trained yourself and you are disciplined, look at the word disciplined, you can hear God's voice. So what about when you are walking in town with the danger ahead and God wants to talk to you? Do you need to retreat before you can hear that voice? Go and die. You understand what I'm saying? So if you know that you have not been able to reach a point at which communicating, no matter the condition or situation, then any partner or more channel a problem may a war or spiritual maturity and our sensitivity. Hello, your sensitivity to the voice of God. Okay, you said you have it.
2 questions are important, but yeah, no time. The first one, and he said, maybe just time, AC just time. I was in that kind of small boy, small girl relationship, but there was affection. Then we separated, maybe then, now university. I'm in a serious relationship. Should I constantly be chatting that maybe nipa na nam ne no where sesa na say nkra gro bi ne edi hu ye hu ana, and you see that all the time that old person is trying to bring your mind back to your past memories. All the time the person is showing that kind of or doing calm and those attitude and affairs a warning. So should you constantly be chatting the person?
It's alright. Ask the next question.
Means the next question.
Ask the next question.
The next question is, I was having a friend, and it was on a girlfriend, a university back, no university back, but the guy was ahead. So after the guy had completed, he went to do his national service somewhere, and they maintained him at the office. So they were doing marriage counseling during those periods, and then the woman was also complete. And a national officer or work bear management when it can say then Obama is advisable say now ain't no mobile. They must be careful about certain things. So Obama is better to say they now can say that situation is not good. It is not even good because means so the woman should come and have his service there. And on woman that advice. But lady no auntie one plan and okoye any baby for. At the end of the day, Obama ko the no for a juma woman some and paying for no more. I think that by calling started say on no yet that kind of agro Emma Bearman every year. Emma will Lucy Bearman or Lucy in so if you are that guy, how are you going to handle it? Because now no one is a Bearman giant no yet bad thing. But maybe one is also if it were you want, how are you going to handle it?
Give it to you. Wow. Wonderful question. Yeah, this is counseling, is that right? And it's for your future. So feel free to ask any question. Even if the offensive part is here, still ask. And then none of you should be offended if a question is asked and it concerns you. You understand? Because the answer may or not may. Hello? And that is why we are here to study. Let me answer the last one first. I'm handling a similar situation. If some of you saw me signaling my daughter in, a colleague introduced a friend of his who has gone into the same situation. They were dating, they dated for 5 years. After 3 years of dating, because of national service at different places, they were parted. When they got there, the guy couldn't control himself and went into extra relationship, not marital because they were not yet married, but extra relationship. Hello? And then when that happened, he started losing his attention or focus for the lady. According to the lady, she tried and the lady also had evidences that indeed the guy was cheating. That was why he was not paying attention to him anymore. So the lady, out of frustration and broken-heartedness, went in for someone else. And after 6 months, she said, this guy, some guys are dangerous, as Luca said. Some guys are dangerous. Some guys are dangerous. Some guys are dangerous. Some guys are dangerous. Some guys are very dangerous. When he realized that the lady was withdrawing, retreating, he went back
I'm saying it's very dangerous because now he's doing the same thing. He went back and started doing sort of things. Then the lady said so. She left that man, though the man was rich. She left him and went back for this guy. But the guy, till now that I'm talking to, is still going out with that lady out there because they are still staying afar. Hello? What happened? This year, last year, 2020, 19th November, they were supposed to have their wedding. The situation had been there for 2 years, staying apart. And then the lady, I don't know, what I heard first was that she said her prophet told her the guy would do something. But when I spoke to her, according to what she told me, she just wanted to find out if the guy would tell her the truth based on the hormone. And then she would also so it was like, I think she wanted to play something like, yeah, but why are you kind of one inch there? So she asked the guy that he may not call a and the guy said, oh, some lady in our farm and call for any child and the bite was a lie. Deception. He said, oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry, I mean so. Time when I won't pay attention to me until I make back money. But 6 months later, now I buy. The guy said, then we cannot marry. You see that? We cannot marry. So when the case was reported to me, I drew a conclusion. They cannot be coupled. The guy is selfish and dishonest. He doesn't deserve this lady. But I'm using it to answer your question. Everything happened because of the what? Distance. Because, and the lady was weeping. Time was approaching. The guy said, and all report one to on Castle or no you was what man and I. That was saying the whole thing, I will to be trusting you. That was banning. So when it was reported, I called him, I spoke to him in the presence of his friend. And said, oh, yeah, sure, say, who want to be married, you won't be so neat. Was he, I don't see him in a casa. Was so Papa Mujana Casa, and speaking in a cabinet casa was here. First time I'm in the casa about 1 hour of phone, so you didn't calm down. Because those who be couldn't, so all my living will be couldn't. Or I want to tell him, why invited friends. I did that on social media or so I have to take time and use many scenarios to console her and to advise her. Emma Obetia says, no, a will crack is in her interest. Many can say, here, I'm a South African, what's many Macasans now. See, I know you I take time and I'm a girl and Casso, some peace. Ma, many more Cassaya. And I'm in any casa first in the same disaster. Oh, yes, was it? But so they will be glad. May they do no crowd, may walk in any yaye, may who can have a fast walk, and in a giant, and bring young catcher and say, may be worried, oh, you, indeed, may who can have a fast walk catcher and say, in a giant, that's only no. No, no, he said, Miss Sacken, so not for no, so what can't say and so on here. Or you will not be able for some morning or while grass, say whatever, no, so they will. Look at that. So I went ahead to take this lady to a point I will better than once. But tell them once your guy is sit down. So you see me, my baby guy in the town for. Hello? And he was so smart, said. In spite of someone working in a would be signed behind the scene, really to make a saya. Emma did the sign bed. Tina said, Tiafi not be friend or fat or some friend. Do you understand? I was calling the lady was not receiving and she was not calling me. until say guy san man ni nyina proof bi o say o no ba ba ko ni da so ye dey e wo ho and san wo be fe o so send the picture send it no one dey jai dey phone number so one ye no friend to send it one friend no at once maybe the beginning o kan say one friend back or boa ti e dubere no wo ko fe na guy na send it na that is why I said because of what deception you should be careful. Yet till now, over 2 months ago, till now, or that's so convincingly deny us what we have. So because of lady, but when you win, yes, so almost I can't now. When seeking your opinion now, when to argue, she said, or best sign them a coming. What they said, now won't pass on or warrow. Or say they ti me mama wa advice na apoa ma afi dia wo no mo san pa wo chewa check win see the film just one na ka go meeting any me friend na comfort ti the next time our friend na catch CCC say me ne be communicate for our relationship no this work committee no she needs to pay 100 Ghana cedis to achieve half because saka aduma na me ye say me office will be by kama na 500 cedis or madam for Misha, they can't see Misha. The Misha is away. Comes the engine. Hello. But what am I saying? Because of the distance, look at what happened. And then, something said, that lady, the guy doesn't have to reconcile because a lady who was not eager to be with him. And yet now, it's not love. Because there was an opportunity. So when you are indifferent. But if there was an opportunity for her to relocate and get closer to the man and one pedia, this is not so. She is not ready. Listen, the fact is not about love, but she is not ready to sacrifice anything for the welfare of their relationship or marriage. Problem. It's not even about the issue of love. She always wants to operate in her comfort zone, like this guy we are talking about. No, I am married now. Say the more can say. Eba obega mo obi ehu sisi to ware no bia mo da so ni we mo ba na agba ti say won kwasi ade e odi yi ti na me yes. Some people are very deceptive. Do you get it? So it's not advisable saying Ghana or the lady in the very concern. Listen, in relation when you are dating, simple things go out. At that time, it doesn't count, but it will count in future because it tells what your partner is going to be in future. Let me give you an example. A lady went to the United States because her fiance was there and they were going to have their wedding there. So we can't take it the family. So, Adana, feel about 2 weeks to their wedding. Or come to our last and Yaman. Bema de Chile, Bia, so bad you began and I could no more by Siao. And a bear tall ice cream says in baby, cool temperature or more ice cream you over. So we dear the Mauye and yes. This thing was it radio or television? It's Beman. I can't the pines what Tony when he's getting out on your mamma or by normally ever one. I can't pines. No, they talk about it. Kuma be you feel Sassy Park in the channel. And you bring out all that packing in your muscle. One more kind of ice cream in the Casaba. One more kind. Or one is that. And more. Oba. Aha we no nyama I wo friend so for the awo. Bisa. Or say saa de na bɛrima no yɛɛyɛ no kyerɛ sɛ ɛpɛ deɛ ɛde no a obɛyi wɔ ne mama, and she was right. Ɔn saa presenters wɔ wo gyi bi no ɔwɔ sɛ ɛnyɛ ice cream cake ice cream tu awɔ ɔmo de ayi do, but fact is that it's not even about awɔ a etu. Listen, certain simple things ɛde ɛde express love. Ɛnyɛ aduane bebree a wɔbɛnua bɛsi hɔ anaa wɔbɛtɔ abere yi, but ketekete no kura wɔn di no kakra a wɔbɛti ahyɛ wɔn no is a sign of what? Love. Though sometimes ɛyɛ character ɛnyɛ sɛ nipa no hɔ ɛyɛ attitude, but sometimes too it tells like this situation, and it also foretells that the man can be bossy when they are married. Or not a man, what people near my mount, what the other the apply screen. Just sit your fucking bed. You understand? It can mean that. So, guy, no mama family, simple. Are you answered? The decision is right. Ma own credit will be the can. Or more warrior, or no one is out of one day, what's now our lady. Hello? You understand? Then, the first question. If it's not about memories, there is a saying in Akan, and it's true. Jane Tiadada, Neso, and yes. So, even if the X is not showing signs of interest, the more you are interacting, the higher the probability that something can happen. Is that clear? There is this principle. What you say? What you say? But the question is what you say? What's that as a default baby said? Did the other that listen. For example, Oba, Bema or dating the first our weekend. Say, and yes, rape, will rape now, or 100 years. The least chances are Bema to be now. Maybe I know about the duty, but the least chance will be now. On how I will wait in no island, a houses. When you round was on the that is how God created man. Hello? That is how God created man. So, to be on the safer side of power, don't be hooked to your past partner. Don't be hooked in the past relationship. There is a video when we have this session the next time. I will show it on the screen for you. He says, the problem of many people in this generation is this mentality. I have a history with a person, and he goes like this. The fact that you have a history with somebody doesn't mean you have a future with someone. Hello? That is it. It's not every ex who should be part of your future. Two, even if it's not X, the secret is there's a secret. Sex is usually initiated by interaction. Take note of that. Sexual intercourse is usually initiated. You cannot count the number of unfortunate men and women or born sexual intercourse unwillingly, because someone had the opportunity to interact with them unaware. Say, I didn't mean a woman. Hello? For example, especially men are attracted by what we see. women are attracted by touch. So it is natural. Ọbaa bi a wɔyɛ sensitive re ɔbaa biara more a bɛrima ɛne ne interact no something naturally an affection is naturally developed. That is how come a skinny power responsible man yɛrɛ wɔn sɛ ne driver na ne house boy ɛflɛtɛ wɔbɛka saa bɛrima ni nya da agye ma ne tia. If that was the case, I could out will be our yes responsible and or yet better, perhaps equal to the husband. Why the security man? No, he said a woman so bad in mention. Outside here, oh, better man publicly, oh, crab. Now I wish you baby do a bass more than what I can I know what was a pair of 1 hour. Oh, by mind you. Onimu, when any young crowd would be managed so or we never. But I didn't know why is the houseboy. Because the houseboy or driver is always close to her. And women easily. That is one of the reasons I said it is better that you always get closer to your partner. Even when you are praying and can say, "May God paint, don't come close to me." Or a man say, "You power better more attention or not an affection yet." When a woman gets more attention from a man, he gives that man all her attention, her affection. When a woman gets more attention from a man, she gives him all her affection. You get it? So it is very dangerous, and especially when it happens and your ex. Two, don't think that everyone is morally sound and disciplined and spiritually disciplined as you are. I, for example, I can talk to my ex to whatever extent. If I have not made up my mind, say I want her back up, nothing can attract me. Especially seeing that I am in a relationship and she is also in a relationship. You get it? But let me tell you, you cannot have more than 5 out of every 100 men or 27 discipline to that extent. Because I have shared a bed with a woman for 3 months when I was a boy. At that time, I was not in any relationship. Not which many idea. Baby, I now pay me so. But I never did anything with them. I was a schoolboy. Hello. The man who was saying between yes, sir. It doesn't usually happen. So don't think that why be a final or back and I be my crap when they know communicating so I be near them. A fine. So it's not even about X. Once you are in a serious relationship or dating, and especially when you are married, association with people of the opposite sex is not advisable. Likewise, an ex. We all bow, we are very wrong. Do you know some ladies are so evil, say, on pewo, but we say, oh, baffle for our one, and I'm show you. I've seen it. Look at what my client did. They are my clients because I'm their counselor. Look at what he did. On paper, and then you must share. The whole crying in your own to be trusted in you. Now, your counsel, Mama, on 10 on 1 year. Within 1 week, one time you cry. Turn up. Or for swaz or battle. Reasons our day, Mamma girl in our superior boy. Now, what's in this guy? I'm going to go and tell her, say, die or say, or any guy. Now, all to me, meantime, you won't always say, what do you know? And I've told Miss, I said, all kinds of them. Said, near all your name. And I've asked Miss, I said, oh, stay away from him. because or you good friend. Evil relationship corrupts good manners. And let's put the opposite sex aside. If you are in any serious relationship, you shouldn't be befriending people. Listen, I don't comprehend you. I don't comprehend you. Take note of this. Aside relationship, I don't comprehend. People who are like that, they always find problems. They always find themselves in problems. But it's only a few honest and humble ones who want to be this and they be super in a man and told me. Most of them say they make especially on your back. I did not all yet and none swap on the partner. No. I don't know and why you be a open. All come or better say a man. But when you get closer to some people, always we see the truth in there. Hello? I don't go anything. They say I don't go good or go anything. Evil communication corrupts good manners. So, in spite of notwithstanding your moral discipline level, if you keep hanging around friends for life to be saved. Hello? For life to be saved. And sometimes advice or maybe any part of our if you were your young kuba now young kuba advice for our demand a bit to say relationship. That's really a more. You see they are more so we might be very careful when we are dealing with friends. So my answer is straightforward. If you are in a relationship and you think you are okay with that relationship, you want to keep it, stay away from excesses. Stay away also from friends of the opposite sex. Was oh, 80, and then Adam 4. Then don't marry. Hello? Don't marry. Then you have the liberty. Listen, the vows involved in marriage, and yet vows keep one. And remember, it is better you don't make a vow to God than to make a vow to God and break that vow. Or say, if I want to say, oh, pomba, we know pomba. Miscarried baby or buying none at time so not insane is say, yeah. Abrana was saying, Mujanaba, never from Pompa. Hello, and yet premature delivery, and yet for Pompa, and not your own point. Why would prematurely? Or Pompa, the idea. So listen, my advice to you, final advice before we end this session, ladies and gentlemen, is this. If you think that, so when we have the next session, we are going to look at preparation before marriage or before we say I do. Well, some of the things I'm going to talk about is intellectual preparation, emotional and psychological preparation. Intellectual, are you prepared? What are the things you have learned? Hello? Concerning marriage and family life. Do you have enough information about the better marriage and family? If you don't have it, you are not ready for marriage. Hello?
Hi.
Emotionally and psychologically. Can you handle the situations, the demands of marriage? There are many things that you don't have the right to do it. Or bow, listen, you cannot be a married man. Then, on occasions like Christmas, New Year, and other occasions, you leave your heart with your wife and children, then you are enjoying with friends. You are an irresponsible man, indisciplined man. You don't qualify to be a husband. The same way, a married woman When your husband and children are in the house or they are going to church or some meeting, then you are hanging around my friends. So are you prepared to say sacrifice we now obey and they all take sacrifice? Answer now which me I is a great sacrifice. Say, coming out for work or two or one year, there is to be I have to be in the house. If you are not ready for that sacrifice, you are not ready for marriage. As simple as that. See you.